Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Adam Talks, a podcast that takes an alternative look at retirement. This is Adam Bergman, founder and CEO of IRA Financial. If you want to learn more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Just search IRA Financial. Hey everyone, welcome to the 300th episode of Adam Talks. I'm Adam Bergman, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial, and on today's 300th episode, pretty cool stuff. I want to do something uplifting, motivational, inspirational, feel-good story. So I wanted to do a Roth IRA feel-good story and just kind of landed on this subject by chance. Really, I was talking to a client a week or so ago, and he told me the story. And I said, oh my God, this is going to be a perfect story for my 300th Adam Talks episode. So wanted to share it with everyone. I am keeping the names private, just out of respect for the families involved, but I think you'll really be uplifted by this story and see some of the great powers of the Roth IRA, at the same time. So before I get started on this story, just wanted to thank everyone, all of you listeners, for all your support over the years. It's been a great ride. Looking forward to doing another 300 plus episodes. I have so much fun doing these podcasts, especially Adam Talks. So just really want to say thank you for spending some time with me every week, listening to some new, exciting, interesting concepts, rules, laws involving retirement accounts, and looking at a alternative take at how you can save and generate huge amounts of wealth in a retirement account. So that's my passion. It's not a zero-sum game. We all can do it. That's the beauty of the system. It's all based off simple math, consistency, making contributions, having patience, trusting the process. It can work for all of us. And that's the beauty of the retirement system. And that's why I enjoy talking about it so much and educating all of you to empower you to become the best and most successful retirement investors you can be, because it's really not just something that you can share with your family. It's really a legacy you can leave to your children, the wealth that you can accumulate. And I think this story should be inspirational. So just before we jump into the story, obviously it's been a couple of bad weeks if you're a Roth lover. Starting with the Peter Thiel article in ProPublica around June 24th or so. It's been a couple rough weeks. Roth IRA has been under attack from the media, also from Washington. Senator Wyden of Oregon, he talked about bringing back his Roth IRA cap at $5 million, which he proposed in 2016, which didn't go anywhere because there was just no bipartisan support for it in the House and the Senate, but he's talked about imposing a similar cap. That hasn't gone anywhere. There's no legislation on the table, but that's something that's in the media. Obviously, the Peter Thiel ability to turn thousands into billions didn't play well with some people. With others, it did. Others saw that this is the way the system works. You get lucky, you hit some home runs, hit the lottery a few times, and it could happen to all of us, right? Peter Thiel, a super smart guy, and he just did it in a tax efficient account. He could have done it with personal funds and made the same investments into Facebook and PayPal and Palantir, but he did it with a Roth IRA, and that's the way the system worked, and he was able to do it. And the IRS did look at this, at the Peter Thiel case, according to the article in the Government Accountability Office report in 2014. And as far as we know, they were not able to uncover any devious or illegal type of use of the Roth IRA. So it's been, for me as someone who wrote a book on the Roth IRA, someone who's puts all my savings in a Roth IRA, I'm a big believer, if you're young, to bet on the Roth, the ability to grow tax-free. To me, has a lot more value than tax deductions. It's been a rough three or so weeks. I've been under attack from some of my I don't want to say more liberal friends, but definitely more progressive friends who just think it's super wrong that someone can accumulate so much money tax-free. So anyways, I'm not here to critique the system. The system is the system. It's in law. If they want to change the law, they can speak to their Congress, men, ladies, senators, and they can try to change it. But right now, the Roth IRA is codified under 408A, and there's not much you can do other than learn how the system works and learn how the rules can help you. So let's get to this really inspirational story, because I think for my 300th episode, as I mentioned, I wanted to do something uplifting and also something that aligned with my passion, which is tax-free saving. So again, this client, I'm not going to mention his name, but for family and privacy reasons. But he's been a client of IRA Financials for some years, and he lost his son in active duty in the U.S. military. And that's actually when he became a client, because under the new military rules, there's something called HART, Heroes Earnings Assistance and Tax Relief Act. It's a 2008 act. And basically the way this works is when you lose someone, the family receives substantial benefit proceeds from the government, and the payout usually consists of a default $400,000 from the service members group's life insurance, and it's automatic unless the service member opted for less coverage. And plus there's a death guarantee also of $100,000. So under this HART Act of 2008, what you can do is you can roll the $400,000 into a Roth IRA or a Coverdale, right? And the idea is that, hey, let this money grow tax-free, and it could help the family of the service member, and whether it's paying for college for children or for other family in a Roth IRA for later years. Let's give them the benefit of tax-free growth. And obviously you can't make annual contributions, but you get the benefits of the tax-free growth. So this client of mine, he decided to take the $400,000 and put it in a Roth IRA for his late son. And his idea was, hey, I want to have it grow tax-free, and I want to be able to do something for him, down the road. So what this individual did, and I wish I knew every investment my clients make, but I don't. We have almost 30,000 clients. I wish I got to speak to each one individually. Sometimes I have weeks where I can speak to a handful, others I don't. But again, I'm always willing to. It's just the way things work. People are busy. My lines are always open. My emails are open. I'd love to hear from anyone, especially my clients. But in this particular instance, I didn't know what this client did. And I got a call a week or so ago saying, hey, Adam, I want to have a chat with you. I was like, of course. So we set up a time and we start talking, and he tells me, listen, I didn't know if you knew, but I lost my son in active duty. I got this $400,000 under the HART Act, and I rolled it into a Roth IRA. And I bought stock in this startup, which I thought was really exciting. And I just thought it could really be a great opportunity for this money. And I was optimistic that it would do really well. And then I would have this chunk of money that I could use for my late son's memory and legacy. So I said, awesome. I mean, how did it do? And he goes, you won't believe this, but that $400,000 turned into $36 million. And the company I invested in is going public, and I own this money owns about 1% of the company, and it's going to be worth $36 million in a Roth IRA in the next month. Wow. I said, oh my God. I said, first of all, it's an unbelievable story. It's an unbelievable legacy for your late son, but it also shows you, the powers of retirement savings and the Roth IRAs. This $400,000 could have been my money, could have been your money. It could have been any one of ours money, and the ability to turn that into $36 million tax-free is just an unbelievable advantage. And it goes back to Peter Thiel. It's not $5 billion, so it sounds a lot better. And you look at the context, doing this for a son who was lost in active duty versus the supposedly rich billionaire in Silicon Valley, you start seeing that, hey, Roth IRAs aren't bad. It's not just for the super rich. Here, this person took $400,000 from his late son's insurance payout from the government, and turned it into $36 million tax-free that he's going to do amazing stuff for, based off what he and his family wants to do for his late son. So I just thought this was such a really important story to say and share. Not only is it just a great investment, but it turned really sad tragedy, family tragedy, into something positive where this money could be used to help lots of people, and all in the name of this individual who gave his life to the country, in the most heroic senses as a military service member. So, plus, I thought it was just context to this really bitter fight against the Roth IRA from the media, from politicians who just think it's a way for the ultra rich to just get richer, steal money from the poor, steal money from the government, just kind of work the system over. And here it's like, hey, here's someone who just took some money, invested in a Roth IRA, and turned it into a whole lot of money, not billions, but millions. So it doesn't sound as egregious. And you look at the context and you're like, wow, he took life insurance from a late son in the military and turned it to this great tax-free wealth that now he's able to do such amazing stuff for his late son. It looks a lot better, and the context is, I think, a lot sweeter for all those haters out there in the media, and anyone out there criticizing the power of the Roth IRA as a good tool. And it should be seen as a zero-sum good tool that all of us could use to benefit, whether it's 36 million or 360,000 or even 36,000. That money can grow tax-free. It uses the power of compounding returns, tax-free growth, and then ultimately, so long as you're 59 and a half and the Roth's been open 5 years, you can use those funds any way you want, including charitable purposes, setting up foundations, paying for low-income schooling, doing whatever you want to do with that money. It doesn't have to be used to buy a mansion or a beach house or a Maserati. You can use it for other things. And I just thought it was an important story. Again, all about context. I feel like life needs to be put into context. You show someone who can turn hundreds of thousands into millions tax-free and use that for good, it looks a lot more appealing, and it's a lot easier to defend than someone who turns thousands into billions and is seen as this like ruthless venture capitalist that doesn't care about everyone else, especially the poor, and wants to just steal from all of us and the government and have all this tax-free wealth and move on to New Zealand or wherever else he wants to live and never give any of that back. So that's not the case. That's the exception to the extreme. I've been doing this a long time. I've many wealthy clients. They don't have anywhere near the billions. These are people that earned and invested their money wisely and did very well with their investment, and they should not be punished. And here's a great example of why that's the case, and why doing it in a Roth IRA has just so much more value. Yeah, he could have done this personally, and yeah, he would have paid 20-something% capital gains tax. So it's not like he wouldn't have been able to do it if he did it personally with personal funds. But here he took the funds, instead of just deploying it for whatever reason, he decided to invest it, do it in a Roth IRA, which is super tax efficient. And now that 36 million, you add 20-something%, that's another $6-7 million that he's able to do some really good stuff in the community in the name of his late son. So again, I just thought this was super uplifting. I thought it was just, obviously a tragic story, but I think if you can say somewhat of a happy ending where now this money can really be used for good. And I just thought, using the Roth IRA vehicle was timely, based off, again, all the negativity in the media and in Washington. I thought it was important to showcase that, hey, the Roth IRA could be used for good. It's not just for the super uber wealthy. Here's a family that's not billionaires that was able to take some money and turn it into millions, and now could use it tax-free to do really good stuff in the community, and really, across the country, in the name of this hero who tragically lost his life defending our great country. So that's it. That's kind of my uplifting story for my 300th episode. Again, it's hard to believe it's been 300 episodes. It's been a really fun journey, and I look forward to doing another 300. And I just hope my hair doesn't turn more gray. But hey, that's just the way that the world works. Only one way to go, and that's up. So thank you again for really, really, really supporting the podcast and spending some time each week with me, listening, learning, trying to become smarter together, become better investors, more savvy, and more successful retirement investors for ourselves and our family. Again, thank you so much for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you as well. Don't forget to subscribe, because I got a lot of really cool content in the works that's going to be launching in the next several months. So stay tuned. Otherwise, really, again, so deeply touched. Thank you. And talk to everyone again next week. Be well and enjoy the week.